Welcome to the concluding chapter of our journey through the life of Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi. In this part we explore the most intense and defining moments of his reign during the Third Crusade, a conflict that not only tested his military prowess, but also his ability to navigate diplomacy, resilience, and internal challenges, from the legendary confrontations with Richard the Lionheart to the betrayal and covert threats from within. This is the story of a leader who stood steadfast against all odds. The Third Crusade and its impact. The Third Crusade, 1189-1192, was one of the most significant chapters in the life of Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi. Known as the King's Crusade, it saw the involvement of three prominent European monarchs: King Richard I of England, Richard the Lionheart, King Philip II of France, and Emperor Frederick I Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire. This crusade was a direct response to Salahuddin's stunning victory at the Battle of Hattin in 1187 and his subsequent recapture of Jerusalem, which had shaken Christendom to its core. The Third Crusade was not merely a military contest, it was a prolonged and complex engagement that tested the leadership, diplomacy, and endurance of both Salahuddin and his adversaries. Preparations for the crusade. After reclaiming Jerusalem, Salahuddin anticipated that European powers would mount a massive campaign to retake the city. He immediately began fortifying his territories, reinforcing key cities like Acre, Jaffa, and Ascalon, and mobilizing his forces for the inevitable confrontation, strengthening Jerusalem's defenses. Although Salahuddin had captured Jerusalem, he understood that its strategic position made it a prime target. He improved its fortifications, stockpiled supplies, and stationed a large garrison to defend the city. Call for jihad. Salahuddin called upon the Muslim world to support the jihad against the Crusaders. His appeals resonated across the Islamic lands, and reinforcements began arriving from as far as Yemen and Persia. On the Crusader side, Pope Gregory VIII issued a papal bull, rallying Christendom to reclaim Jerusalem. This led to the mobilization of some of the most powerful European armies of the time, the arrival of the Crusaders. The Third Crusade officially began in 1189, but it faced numerous delays. Emperor Frederick Barbarossa drowned en route, leading to the disbandment of a large portion of his army. King Philip II of France and King Richard I arrived in the Holy Land in 1191, landing at Acre, which had been under Muslim control since 1187. The Siege of Acre, 1189-1191. The Siege of Acre was one of the longest and bloodiest battles of the Third Crusade. It began with Crusader forces encircling the city, hoping to wrest it from Salahuddin's control. Salahuddin's countermeasures. Salahuddin personally oversaw the defense of Acre, sending reinforcements and supplies to the besieged city. Despite his efforts, the Crusaders, with their superior naval support, managed to breach the city's defenses. Fall of Acre. In July 1191, after nearly 2 years of fighting, Acre fell to the Crusaders. This was a significant blow to Salahuddin, as Acre was a vital port city and a key strategic asset. The fall of Acre marked the first major victory for the Crusaders and set the stage for a series of confrontations between Richard the Lionheart and Salahuddin. The campaign of Richard the Lionheart emerged as Salahuddin's principal adversary. Known for his courage and military prowess, Richard led the Crusader forces in a series of engagements that tested Salahuddin's resolve and strategic brilliance. The Battle of Arsuf, 1191. The Battle of Arsuf, fought on September 7, 1191, was a critical clash between Salahuddin's forces and Richard's Crusader army. Salahuddin's strategy. Salahuddin employed a tactic of constant harassment, using his cavalry to launch hit-and-run attacks on the Crusader columns. His aim was to wear down the enemy over time. Richard's counterattack. Richard, however, maintained discipline among his troops and launched a decisive counterattack. The Crusaders inflicted significant losses on Salahuddin's forces, forcing them to retreat. Though Salahuddin was unable to secure a victory at Arsuf, he managed to preserve the bulk of his army and maintain control over key strongholds. Diplomatic maneuvers and tactical retreats. Salahuddin understood that a prolonged war against the Crusaders could weaken his position. He began engaging in diplomatic efforts to reach a truce. Richard too recognized the futility of a total war, as both sides suffered heavy casualties and neither could achieve a decisive victory. Skirmishes and negotiations. Over the next year, Salahuddin and Richard engaged in a series of smaller battles and negotiations. Both leaders displayed mutual respect, and their interactions became the stuff of legend. Salahuddin's generosity, including his offer to provide medical aid to Richard when he fell ill, earned him admiration even among his enemies. The Treaty of Jaffa, 1192. The Third Crusade concluded with the Treaty of Jaffa in September 1192. The treaty marked a compromise between the two sides. Key terms: The Crusaders retained control of a coastal strip stretching from Tyre to Jaffa. Jerusalem would remain under Muslim control, but Christian pilgrims were granted free access to the holy sites. Aftermath. The treaty was a pragmatic solution that allowed Salahuddin to consolidate his gains while avoiding further bloodshed. Legacy of the Third Crusade. While the Third Crusade did not achieve its primary objective of retaking Jerusalem, it showcased the enduring strength of Salahuddin's leadership. The compromise reached with the Treaty of Jaffa underscored his ability to balance diplomacy and warfare. The mutual respect between Salahuddin and Richard the Lionheart became a hallmark of the Third Crusade, reflecting the chivalric ideals that both leaders embodied. For Salahuddin, the crusade reaffirmed his status as a unifying force in the Muslim world and a symbol of justice and resistance. His work had a significant impact, but despite his cleverness, Haman underestimated Salahuddin's intelligence network. While the Crusaders often used his intelligence to launch surprise attacks, Salahuddin's foresight, due in part to his own brilliant intelligence officers, would often render these plans ineffective. The Crusaders' traps: women, money, and power. One of the most common tactics used by the Crusaders was manipulation through women, money, and power. They understood the fragile political alliances in the Muslim world and often sought to exploit these through deceit and bribery. Women. The Crusaders used the allure of women to destabilize certain regions and undermine Sultan Salahuddin's alliances. It was not uncommon for Crusader forces to send women into the Muslim camp as spies or to seduce influential Muslim leaders to gain valuable information. These women, often working for the Crusaders' benefit, would attempt to create internal divisions leading to betrayal or discontent among Salahuddin's ranks. Money bribery was another powerful tool. The Crusaders, backed by the resources of Europe, would often offer money to local Muslim leaders, mercenaries, or soldiers to betray their oath of loyalty. There were several instances where key Muslim figures, particularly lower-ranked soldiers or local leaders, were bribed to either provide false intelligence or abandon their posts during critical battles. Power. The Crusaders also attempted to manipulate power dynamics. By offering positions of influence or threatening to remove them from power, the Crusaders could destabilize Muslim factions and create divisions within the ranks. They often sought to exploit rivalries among Muslim leaders, promising them leadership positions or power in exchange for betrayal. Assassins leader Sheikh Rashid al-Din Sinan and rental killers. Perhaps the most infamous group of assassins to target Sultan Salahuddin and the Ayyubid dynasty were the Hashashin, or assassins, led by Sheikh Rashid al-Din Sinan. These assassins, known for their ruthless tactics and shadowy methods, were hired killers who used terror and covert operations to destabilize regimes. Sheikh Rashid al-Din Sinan. Sheikh Sinan was the leader of the Nizari Ismaili sect and the head of the Assassins, a religiously motivated sect known for its deadly operations against political and military leaders. The Assassins operated out of the fortified mountain stronghold of Alamut in Persia, and their influence stretched across the region. Their target was often not just military leaders but also political figures who could threaten their power. Sinan's assassins would often infiltrate enemy ranks and, using poison or daggers, kill leaders or key military figures. Sultan Salahuddin himself was the subject of several assassination attempts orchestrated by the assassins. One such attempt was made during his campaign to reclaim Jerusalem. In these cases, the assassins used their unique ability to infiltrate Muslim, Christian, and Jewish circles alike, leveraging secrecy, deceit, and terror to strike at the heart of their enemies. Assassins' rental killers' attempts on Sultan Salahuddin's life. The assassins' attempts on Sultan Salahuddin's life were more than just attempts to kill. They were psychological attacks meant to destabilize him. In 1176, Sultan Salahuddin was targeted by the assassins during a campaign in Syria. A well-placed assassin attempted to kill him while he was on horseback, but the attack failed and the would-be killer was captured. Salahuddin's calm and measured response to these threats reinforced his reputation as a leader of immense resilience and focus. The assassins continued their covert operations throughout the Crusader Wars, attempting to eliminate Salahuddin multiple times. These attempts were designed not only to kill, but to create chaos and confusion in the ranks of the Muslim armies. Despite these continuous threats, Salahuddin's determination and the loyalty of his closest advisors and soldiers ensured that he survived each attempt. Conflicts with biggest enemies and traitors. Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi's military campaigns and leadership were not solely shaped by external enemies such as the Crusaders, but also by internal challenges, including betrayal from within his ranks. His ability to navigate both the external and internal pressures played a pivotal role in the consolidation and maintenance of his power. The Crusaders, the ever-present threat. The Crusaders remained Salahuddin's primary adversaries throughout his reign, especially after the loss of Jerusalem in 1099 to the European Christian forces. By the time Salahuddin rose to power, the Crusaders had established strongholds along the eastern Mediterranean, most notably the Kingdom of Jerusalem, Antioch, Tripoli, and Edessa. These territories were not just military threats, but symbolic of a broader religious and political battle. The Crusaders, motivated by both religious zeal and the desire for territorial expansion, launched several campaigns to reclaim lands from Muslim rule. Salahuddin's response to the Crusaders was strategic and multifaceted. Internal betrayal, the shadow of treachery. While Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi faced formidable external enemies, he was not immune to betrayal from within his own ranks. The fragmented nature of the Muslim world, combined with political intrigue and personal ambitions, created fertile ground for treason. Betrayal by local rulers and allies. Salahuddin's rise to power was aided by alliances with various local rulers across the Levant. However, not all of them remained loyal. Some sought to exploit his rise for their own gain or defected to the Crusaders for promises of wealth and power. The most notable example was Al-Kamil, the Ayyubid ruler of Egypt, who initially pledged his loyalty to Salahuddin but later sought to strengthen his own position by making concessions to the Crusaders. Despite this, Salahuddin's diplomatic and military prowess kept most of his territories under control. Traitors within the ranks. Salahuddin's forces included a diverse group of soldiers, including Kurds, Arabs, Turks, and Persians, as well as mercenaries. Though loyalty to Salahuddin was generally strong, there were instances where individuals sought personal gain. Some were bribed by the Crusaders, while others were motivated by personal grievances. The most significant betrayal came from within the military leadership itself, the case of the assassins' attempts. The Hashashin assassins played a role in undermining Salahuddin's efforts. As mentioned earlier, the assassins, led by Sheikh Rashid al-Din Sinan, made several attempts on Salahuddin's life. The assassins operated using local collaborators, creating internal instability by targeting those close to the Sultan. In these moments, Salahuddin's intelligence network was crucial in foiling these plots and ensuring his safety. The betrayal from these covert operatives only further exemplified the challenges he faced from within. The legacy of Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi. Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi's legacy is vast and multifaceted. His military genius, combined with his compassion, leadership, and strategic foresight, secured his place as one of the greatest leaders in history. He successfully united the fractured Muslim world, reconquered Jerusalem, and preserved the dignity of his people in the face of overwhelming odds. However, the struggles he faced were not just against foreign invaders, but also internal challenges of loyalty, betrayal, and division. The Crusaders, with their cunning intelligence and strategic traps, were relentless in their attempts to undermine him. Yet, despite these challenges, Sultan Salahuddin's unwavering commitment to justice and his moral integrity left an indelible mark on history. The lessons learned from his life, particularly the importance of unity, loyalty, and moral leadership, resonate even today. His ability to reconcile his military might with compassion, his steadfastness in the face of betrayal, and his enduring respect for his enemies make him a towering figure, not only in Islamic history but in world history. The Third Crusade and its aftermath highlighted Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi's unparalleled legacy as a leader of justice, courage, and wisdom. While the Crusaders sought to destabilize the Muslim world through traps, diplomacy, and relentless military campaigns, Salahuddin's strategic brilliance, moral integrity, and ability to unite a fractured region stood out. The Treaty of Jaffa not only symbolized the triumph of diplomacy over destruction, but also marked the respect he commanded from his greatest adversaries. Despite facing immense challenges, from betrayal within his own ranks to assassination attempts by covert operatives, Salahuddin's character remained unwavering. His ability to rise above enmity, showing compassion even to his foes, solidified his status as a revered figure in history. His life serves as an enduring reminder of the power of unity, resilience, and ethical leadership. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable journey through the life of Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to AI Deen Vision for more enlightening historical narratives. Together, let's continue exploring the timeless legacies of extraordinary figures who shaped the world.